Hello everybody. I am Judy Mullins and my business is Vintage to Chic. And I'm coming in today to show you number 2 of a Crown Roll bottle. I listed it yesterday, put it on a video yesterday or this morning of how to cover it with mulberry paper, which I've done this one. This is a Crown Roll liquor bottle. And my son has drilled a hole in it for lights. We put Christmas lights in them. I use a set of 20. I have my business page, which is Vintage to Chic on Facebook. I have an Etsy shop, vintage2chic.etsy.com, and I have another shop where I'm a digital designer, and it is vintage2chicdesigns.etsy.com. I hope you'll come along. If you're watching us on YouTube, I hope you'll subscribe and come watch our other videos. I've just got serious about working on YouTube, and I'm learning. I'm still in the learning process, so you have to give me a little grace. But I'm getting there, and I promise it will. It'll be a great ride, okay? I have covered the bottle with mulberry paper, and I put a link on the other video that told you about where the mulberry paper comes from. It's mulberrypaperandmore.com. I'll put it down below. And I covered it and got it ready. This is white with the gold threads running through it. Okay, these are beautiful, and you can get this paper in all different colors. And this is a perfect vehicle background for what you want to decoupage on. Today I'm going to use a napkin. Sometimes I use rice paper, which are designs I use, but I also, over the mulberry paper, the napkins, if it has a white background, it blends in beautifully with this mulberry paper. And I'm going to put a lady. I have created me a lady here. Gotta find her. I have printed me a lady. I'll put a link to these two ladies. These come from my shop, and this is printed on rice paper. I've got 2 on this page. And I'm going to cut one of them out. Gotta get my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Anytime I use something like this, I make me a template. So I went in and I made me a template that fits. This bottle has indentations. It is a design, has a design in it, like little diamond shapes in it. But it has an indentation here like a frame. So I'm going to put that lady right in that frame. And then I'm going to work my flowers all around and all over the bottle. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is lay my template down on top of this lady's face, and I'm going to take my pencil and trace around my template so I can cut it out. I print on rice paper. These are designs from my shop, which I'll have a link in the bottom to my shop. On my Facebook page, we have a private group. We have some other things on there, so I hope you'll come over and visit it too. Got to get me a pair of scissors over here. Okay, now I'm going to use this lady, so I'm going to cut her out. I'm going to put her on the bottle first and then work around her, okay? So I've got to go around here and just cut her out to fit in this space. I make templates for about everything. If I'm making stripes or checks or whatever designs I'm using, if I need, if it's needs to be a specific shape or size, I make templates. Sometimes they're out. This one happens to be out of paper. Most of the time I use cardstock or poster board to make them. Okay, now see, this is the templates cut out. And this is going to fit right into that space there where I've got it done. I'm working the paper dry. The mulberry paper is all dry. When you put it on your piece, it only takes a couple hours for it to dry to where it's completely dry for you to work with it. So I'm going to use decoupage glue now. I use Mod Podge, which is my go-to, but I take it out of the jug. I buy it by the gallon. I take it out of the jug. And to this cup of Mod Podge, I add a couple tablespoons of water. It's way too thick out of the bottle. Okay, plus I don't want to work in a container of Mod Podge because it contaminates your glue, and then you have a problem with it. So I just put it in that little cup, and I put a couple of tablespoons of water in it. And then it's perfect. It's the perfect to deal with. It's thin and it goes on real easy, and you don't need very much to glue a piece down. I put half of that. I'm doing half of the picture at a time instead of putting it all over the picture and putting it down there. I'm going to work it with my fingers from the middle out Always working from the middle to the outside so I don't get any wrinkles in that paper. Okay, like I said, this one's printed on rice paper. Now I'm going to raise up the bottom and do the same thing across the bottom. Just put this in, take my fingers and smooth it down. And I'm going to put one coat of the Mod Podge over top of her so that seals this print in, okay? Put it in and seal it in. We'll decorate around this print with some beads and stuff. When we get it all finished, we'll decorate around her too. Your piece should not be very wet. You don't need very much glue to glue it down, and you don't need very much on the top of it. That will be dry in just a couple of minutes. That will be plenty dry enough, okay? Now I've got that one done. I'm going to set this bottle up here, and I'm going to spread out my napkin. I've had these napkins for years, and I cannot tell you where you can find them now. I don't even know if it's still available. When I find napkins, I don't work with napkins a lot anymore, but I used to. But when I find napkins that I like, when I find napkins that I like, I buy a bunch of them. If I find one that's a perfect design, which this one is, see you got flowers all over it, and you can take them out a section at a time, then I buy like 100, 150. I've been known to buy 150 napkins at one time. I hear my dog barking. Okay, so I'm going to take a water brush. I'm going to use my water and just get me a brush over here. And I think I like to work with a round one. I do use a water pen sometimes, but it's just as easy to use a brush. So I'm going to dip these. I'm going to take out a lot of these. Now it's got two different, in here it's got a lighter pattern. See this light pattern back there? You can use those, you can use the darker ones. So I'm just going to go in here with my water brush, and I'm going to go right around these with a little bit of water, and I'm going to get my designs out of the napkin. I'm just going in close to the design. Like I said, this is a white background I'm working on, and my bottle is a white background, so this is going to just fade into that mulberry paper really, really nice. It's real easy. Not using very much water, just enough to get it tore out of there. Okay. Now I'll just take my finger, pull it apart with where I put the water on there. I'm just going to pull it out till I get my design out of there. Okay, so I've got one section here. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut me out quite a few of them so I'll have them. I won't have to come back and work with them. Okay, this one goes right along the edge of the bottom there, so I can put it along the edge of the bottom of the bottle, and it will fit perfect around that because it's got a flat edge on it. So make use of how your design is made. If you've got a flat, like the bottom of the bottle, and it's flat on the edge, then use the edge of the napkin, and you've created the bottom automatically. See? The same way with this one. This one's got a bottom on it also. She's out in the front yard here, which you can hear, and she's barking at something. Hard to tell what. Okay. If you go on Etsy, maybe Etsy or eBay, and you put in rose, pink rose napkins, you may find this one. I've not looked. Like I said, I've had it for years, so I have no idea if it's still available or not. Napkins always have 2 or 3 plies, so when you get it all separated, then we have to take the plies apart. Take it apart. Now I'm going to go right into the next one. Just going to go ahead and take out a bunch of these so I don't have to go back and work when I start putting them on my bottle. They go on real quick and real easy. This is a good napkin too. Sometimes you get them that are just, you know, this is just one that turned out to be perfect for so many things. I've used it with so many different shabby chic designs. This bottle will get a set of 20 Christmas lights in it, which are interchangeable. I always buy Christmas lights at Dollar Tree around Christmas time, and when I buy them by the case. So I have them all year round when I'm using. We do a lot of bottles, so I have them, keep them on hand all the time. And my son does the woodworking for me, drills my bottles and does all that. He helps me. Okay, now I've got about 4 sections there. Let's take this big one out here. Coming around. Okay, almost got them out. See, I should have cut them out before we started and just showed you 1 or 2, but I didn't. So now we're doing the good work. It's not so much fun. Okay. Didn't want this. I'm going to take out 1 more section here, and then we'll get started on what we're doing on putting it on the bottle. Okay, I believe I got it. Okay, now I'm going to lay that aside. When you have napkins like these, don't throw that away, because that's precious pieces. I always keep a box. I have a little box here that I keep, and I'll tell you something that's give you a tip here that's perfect for keeping scraps and small pieces like that in. When you buy a cake or cupcakes at the bakery, and you get those boxes that your cupcakes come in, those plastic containers, those are perfect. Clean that out, and that's a perfect vehicle for storing napkins in, for storing any of your decoupage napkins or your designs. Now I'm going to start right over here on this side. I'm going to take this big one here, and I'm going to let it wrap around. See, this bottle's got a handle on the back. See how the handle is? So I'm going to wrap it around, right around where that handle is. We'll let it go right up in there. Now, anytime you're taking a piece around a curve, see, I've got an indentation here and around that curve. So when you do that, if you take your scissors and you cut into that a little bit, you'll be able to lay that down around that curve with no problem. So I've got it laying here, and I'm going to cut right in here where it's going to go down in that. Take my little scissors. I've cut wrong stuff with my scissors, and I've just about ruined them. See, that will lay down on this side and lay down on this side, so that you've got a perfect indentation there in the pouch. Now I'm ready to take the backing off. So I'm going to separate my napkin here. Take my backing off. Sometimes this is the hardest part, and I should have got put a little bit of Mod Podge on my finger and see if that helps. Okay, there's 3 plies to this one, so I'm taking the very top one off. See, this is very thin and delicate. Okay, now I'm going to lay it right down there, and I really don't have to even put any glue underneath it if I don't want to. But I'm going to take I'm going to lay this back here, and I'm going to very lightly put me just a little bit of glue underneath it. Not very much at all, because I don't want it to be wet. I just want to dampen it. Now I'm going to lay that down, starting in the middle, and I'm doing this a section at a time. I'm not trying to put the whole napkin down at one time. Then very lightly take my brush, very soft touch, take my brush and very lightly go back over that, working from the middle out. If you lay that whole thing down there and then try to put it on there, you're going to have problems because wrinkles are going to pop up everywhere. See, I've only got one side of it down. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glue down on this bottom. Just a little bit. Little tiny bit. Put a little glue on my brush. Work from the middle out. Now see here where I went over that curve? I go right over that curve very easy because I cut into that napkin. Anytime you want to round a corner, you cut into it a little bit. It will lay down and go right around the corners or around over the humps or whatever you need to do for whatever you're working on. See how neat that is going on there and laying down? Working from the middle out. Very light touch, very little glue. Not necessary to make that wet. Sometimes you get them too wet. That's what causes them to rip, and that's what causes your problems with your napkin, causes your wrinkles. If you get it way too wet on your bottle or whatever you're working on. Now see, I've got that one on there. Now it lapped over this little lady here a little bit, and I'm not going to glue that down because I'm going to clip that off. Okay. Now see how perfect that went on there? See there? How pretty that just went right, laid right down there. Not a wrinkle in it. Now, I've got that right here to the bottom, and I've got that little piece. Remember I told you I cut this little piece with the flat edge of the napkin? See, that's going to go right across my bottom there and be a perfect little piece because it's going to fit right down along the bottom of the bottle. Okay, so now I'm ready to take the back off of this one. Sometimes that's the hardest part, is getting them apart. Sometimes I take a piece of tape, put a piece of tape on my finger, just according to how hard it is. But this napkin is so delicate and so pretty. You want them that way if you can handle them, because that means it's just, see how lightweight and how transparent it is? Now I'm going to put me just a little touch of glue right here across the bottom. And I'm going to lay this right down here and let it go right to the edge of the bottom. Putting it right on the edge of the bottle. And just take a little bit of glue on my brush and go over top it, just a little bit over the top of it. Just enough to lay it down. This one will get varnish on it. I varnish everything I do. The varnish protects your piece from dust. If you varnish it, you're able to dust a piece and not have any problems with it. It protects your finish, and it'll last years and years and years and years. So sometimes I use a spray varnish, which is Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1 gloss spray. Or if I use a brush-on varnish, I use one by Chromium called Josania's. Okay, now see, I've got the bottom underneath her, and I've got this edge. Now I'm going to come right up here and go across this hump on the top. I'm going to do all the front before I go into the back. Now this one is one of the lighter, the paler colors. I'm going to lay it right there. And again, see how when you put that out there and you see that pop up, when you see that pop up and you lay it down, that's where you cut in. That's where you cut that napkin and go into it to get it to lay down over that hump. So I'm going to hold it right in place. And I'm going to take my scissors here and I'm going to clip right down into that napkin. And see, that will get it to lay down this way and to lay down this way. It overlaps there, but you've joined it together to where you won't even tell that it's overlapping. Okay, now I'm ready to put it on, so I've got to separate it. See, once you get all your stuff prepped here, this one goes really, really quick. Now see where I've cut the napkin in there? I'm going to lay that right back down. This one is just a very, very pale color of the napkin. It's like a shadow. Okay, I'm going to hold it. This is my cut right here on the hump of this bottle. I'm going to raise that up and put just a little bit of glue right there where that goes down. I've been in the craft business, girls, for close to 50 years. I opened a craft shop when I was 27 years old. I'm about to tell you how old I am, aren't I? And I had it for 12 years back in the late 70s and early 80s. Did every kind of craft you could imagine. Taught classes. I've taught for about over 25 years. I've taught classes. Decorative painting was my love, but I've done everything from macrame to cake decorating, candy making. I've done it all. Now I do Facebook. I don't travel. I've done craft shows all up and down the East Coast, worked craft shows. My husband worked with me. Like I said, this is the only job I've ever had is the craft business. I love what I do. Always been so much fun to have a job and that you make money at. That's something you love. If you love your job, that's amazing. Okay, I cut into that again because it's coming up over that hump. Lay this side down, a little bit of glue on my brush, then I'm going to lay that one down. See, take your brush, pull it right up there. When you cut into that, you don't even see where you cut into it. But it gets around the humps for you, gets around the curves and the humps when you cut into that picture. Okay, see how pretty it's going around? Now see, that one is real pale looking. That's a part of the napkin, but it's like a shadow. Got that one? Now let's see where I need to go. Got to try to not get my fingers in it too wet. So I'm going to put one right here that goes right over the back. Okay, now let's see what I've got here. May have to cut me out another one. See which ones I've got here. I've got a big one here, but I don't think I might be able to use that big one down there on that bottom and let it cut in there. See, if I don't need it all, I can take part of it off of the bottom. So let's see, let me turn it toward me here and see where it's going to go. Okay, I believe I can use that. Now see how this wraps? I got to hold it up because I don't want to lay it down. I don't want it to get, it's still a little wet, and if I lay it down on the paper, it's going to stick and mess my design up. Okay, now I'm going to let that one come around like so, and I've got it right here. See, I've got a part right here that goes down in that hole, so that's where I have to cut into this one. Other than that, it goes around pretty good. So I'm going to have to cut in right here, put me an indentation in there, and I'm going to have to cut in right here on this side. So this is going to lay right down in that spot there. This one's going to come right up around the handle a little bit. Sometimes you may have to cut it twice. Sometimes you may have to cut it in one direction and then cut it in the other one. And I think I'm going to do that right there. So I have cut it that one way. Now I'm going to cut into it a little bit that way. Lay it back down there and see how you can check to see how it's going to lay down before you ever start gluing it down. Okay, now I think that's going to work. Okay, I'm ready to take the back off of this one. Couple more and we got it made. Just a couple more. Okay. This is a quick project. Once you get your, when I cover with mulberry paper too, another thing here, I'm getting off my thing. When I work with the mulberry paper, I don't just sit down and cover one bottle at a time. This paper comes in all different colors, and it's beautiful. Comes in all different shades of colors. And if I'm going to cover bottles, I'll cover a whole bunch at one time today. Then I've got them sitting here around in my shop where you can see all my junk around me here. I've got them sitting in my shop, and then on the days that I decide to work on them, I've got a bunch of them already covered with the mulberry paper and ready to go. Okay, I'm putting a little bit glue. I'm holding that with my other hand so it doesn't slip, and putting just a little bit of the glue on that design, under that design. Now I'm still working from the middle out, always from the middle out. Work to where it's open on the end, because that's where your bubbles will go. Your wrinkles will go right out to the outside and you won't have them. I don't like wrinkles. Sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes it just, no matter how hard you try, you're going to get a few, and that's okay, because it's, you know, these are handmade. Nothing's going to be perfection when it's handmade. Now I see right now I need to cut in right here because there's a little bit of a hump there. Okay, so I cut that, let that little flower lay right over top of there, and then the other one right beside it, and this other one's kind of going right around that handle a little bit. Okay. Okay. This, I love this because it fades right into your background. You don't even see that. You see none of that napkin. Okay, now see right here where this goes down? See how that popped up? When I push that, that end pops up. Okay, that's where you cut in again. So right here, I'm going to cut my napkin again right here. Everywhere that you see you have an indentation there where it's going to bulge on you, that's where you want to put your cuts into your napkin. Learning to do that with your napkins opens up a whole new thing, because you can go right around a bottle. You can go around anything that's round, anything. You can go right around the sides of things and all just by cutting into that. Now see, that's where I put a cut in there. See, that one joined right up here with the top one. Now this one will lay right down in there. Raise that one up a little bit till I get this one down. Get this one down. My touch, when I've got this glue on my brush, my touch is very, very light-handed. I'm just doing, if you go in and do this, you know, with that, you're going to tear your napkin. So very light-handed is you're going to go in there. Okay, lay that down. A little more glue. I'm right down in that, into the back of that bottle. This is beautiful. I'm having an auction. If you're watching me before the 3rd of June, I'm having my next auction for June is on the 3rd, which is Monday the 3rd, on my Facebook page, Vintage to Chic. We'll be having an auction. Okay, now look here. I've got the back coming all the way around to the front and all the way around. Now I need me something right up here on this corner, on this. Now I'll put ribbons and stuff around the top of this, so I won't, you know, I won't worry about getting anything up on the neck up here. And I have left the lid on. So the lid, you can paint this lid or you can leave it. It's pretty gold, so I'm not going to do anything to it, but I will put ribbons and stuff around it that will decorate it, and then put the lights in it. So, and then I'll show you, I'll have a picture of it on my shop here in my YouTube thing. I'll have a picture of it after it's finished. When you see it, it'll be finished with the lights in it. Now I need one more little piece right up here on the top that goes around this corner here, and I'll have it done. So I'm going to try this one. May not use it all, but we'll check and see how it fits in there. Try this one, let it come out. Let's see, I'm going to let it go over this way. So I've got this piece coming down there. You want to lay it down all the way around and see how it's going to fit on there. Make sure that that's where you want it to be. Okay, I think that's going to work. So now I've got to figure where I'm going to cut into it. I'll let it come right up on that edge a little bit, and see, when I push it down, it will let you know where you need to cut, which is right there where the hump is going. See, when I push that down, that pops up. So if it pops up on you, you know that you need to cut into it a little bit. So I'm going to hold it around here with my thumb, take my scissors, and I'm going to cut into it right here. Cut into my napkin. I've got a piece right here where it's on a hump that I'm going to cut into that, so that lays down. You can always check it, and like I said, sometimes you may need to cut in 2 directions. Okay, now I've got right up here at the top, I'm going to cut in a little bit. So I have cut in at the top up here where it goes down, and I've cut right down here where that lays down. Then you take your finger and see that it's going to lay down for you. Then you got it done. Okay, we're ready to take the back off of that one. Got a scratch in my throat. Allergies are awful this time of year. Oh, I'm having time getting that one separated. Okay. very lightly pull it apart. Now I'm going to take it right back over here where I had it cut, where I've got it cut into those spots, and I'm ready to get it down. So I'm going to start right around here on the front, put my little touch of glue right here on the front first, just a little touch there, and I'll start, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to take that piece right here on the side and lay that piece down. Don't have to do any extra painting. Sometimes when I'm doing things, I'll go back and highlight the flowers or shade them and do extra leaves and stuff on them, but this napkin is so pretty the way it is, you don't really have to do anything else to it. Okay, now I'm going right up here on this way, up the bottle. It's going to go up a little bit on my top here. Working my way up, and see, there's where I cut into it with that one. So this piece has been cut on both ends. See, I've got it cut on this end and I've got it cut on this end so that it will lay down there. And I'm going to have to cut it, it's going to go on that handle, so I'm going to have to cut it again right here. That one little piece is going to go around that handle. So I'm coming here and laying that piece down first, right around the corner here. Take it down. When you get all this on, you've got a perfectly smooth surface. Now this piece is the only piece I've got left, is that little one right there. And it's the way I've cut it, it's going to lay right down around that handle, because I cut into it to fit on that handle. Okay. Okay, now we've got it all covered, and we're just 32 minutes in, so that's a great thing. See? Now, it's not possible for me to finish it with you because I varnish. Everything gets varnished, so I'm going to show you. See, you can see here, I've got the shadow up here of this one, and then it goes all the way around my bottle. And I've got my lady there. Now my lady, when I finish her, she's finished in there. But I will, let me get rid of my glue over here. I need to cut a little piece off right there. And I will put beading. I will varnish this piece. And I will put glitter. When I use glitter, I put the glitter in my varnish. Okay? I put it in. I'll do a quick little video showing you how to finish a piece. This one I have to dry it and do, so I will come back and do a quick little video showing you how to finish it, how to put the varnish and stuff on. We're 30 minutes, let's see, we're 30 minutes in. My nose is itching. We're 30 minutes in, so maybe I can just go ahead and show you. Okay, I'm going to turn my dryer on a little bit. So you're going to hear my dryer. I'm going to try to dry that a little bit so we can put some, okay, first off, before I do that, I'm going to take my toothbrush and I'm going to put, I want to put a little bit of sparkle in it, and I'm going to use a dark, my go-to is a dark, like a brick, let me see where my paint is at here. I'm using a dark red. Okay, my go-to is this deep burgundy is my go-to color for that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this on my palette, and I'm going to take an old toothbrush. I keep some old toothbrushes here, and I'm going to take a palette knife. I didn't intend to do this, so I'm not really organized here as to what I'm going to do. I got to find my palette knife. Okay. I'm going to take my palette knife and an old toothbrush, and I'm going to put a little touch of water, just a little touch of water in my paint here, down in my white paint. I mean in this red color paint. This I call it spackling. It's you know, I'm putting some color in here and I'm doing it with a toothbrush, so I'm just going to flick it on here, but instead of doing it with my finger, a lot of people do it with their finger. I like to do it with a palette knife and my toothbrush. So I'm going to load my toothbrush, just the end of it. My paint is thinned down a little bit with water. It's about the consistency of ink. So I'm going to load my toothbrush. Let me get a drink, girls. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to load my toothbrush here, and I'm going to just pull. I'm going to pull from the outside toward me, and I'm going to just put some paint on there. I'm not going to put any on the lady. I don't want to cover the lady, put anything on her, so I'm not going to do that. This is my go-to. I do this a lot on a lot of my projects because I say it hides a multitude of sins. It hides, you know, it just blends everything together and gives you a finished look, just like when you put glitter and stuff on. So I'm just going around loading my toothbrush very lightly, not very much, because you don't want it to come out in great big hunks of paint. So I'm going all the way around that bottle and just kind of putting a little bit of that color in there. Not so much on the flowers as I'm putting it on the white part of the bottle, on the paper part. Okay, now I've just about got it. Okay, since we're not too far in, I'm going to go ahead and try to finish it with you. I don't know if we can get it dry enough to varnish or not. We can get one coat on it. Okay. Okay, now see what a difference that little bit of spackling, a little bit of color makes. So I've got that all the way around, okay? And my hole is right down here that puts the lights in. I've got it all the way around. Now I'm going to quickly dry this piece as soon as I get my dryer on. Excuse my noise, girls. Okay, now I'm going to show you my varnish. Let me get a bottle of varnish over here. Okay, this is what I varnish with. This is, I'll put a link down below. This is my go-to. I love it. Josanya is a decorative painter from very, very many years ago. When I was first starting, she was already, you know, an older person then, so I'm not sure she's still living, but this company just uses her name and her products. Josonja. Josanya Gloss Varnish. It's a water-based varnish, and it's put out by Chroma, CHROMA.com. Well, that's the company who makes it. I get it from dickblick.com, or you can find it on Amazon. I will put a link in the video that shows you this. Now, I put it in just a paper cup, a bowl, or I use these little plastic bowls all the time. I don't see one sitting around here. And I'm going to get me a brush. I keep a brush that I use just for varnishing. And, you know, clean it good every time you use it. You clean it good. Just a good soft brush, okay? Now the glitter, if I'm using glitter, I put it in my varnish. This is iridescent glitter. I think this comes from Hobby Lobby. It's called Go Create, and it's just iridescent glitter. Usually I put a couple of coats on before the glitter, but since I'm working with you today, I'm going to go ahead and put the glitter in my first coat. So I don't want to just put the glitter on the bottle, you could put the glass, forgot what it's called on there, but if you're going to sell it, I don't use that because I sell everything I do, and it's, you know, you can't warranty somebody not getting cut on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of a varnish out in my cup here. Okay, then I'm just going to take my glitter, it's got a shaker on it, and I'm going to shake my glitter right into that varnish. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and start on my bottle, and I'm going to varnish the whole thing. Now this is the protective, is for protecting the bottle, and it will get a final, it'll have about 3 or 4 coats on it when it's final. This one, I'm putting the varnish on the first one this time, only because I'm on the video. Usually I would put a couple of coats on it and then put the glitter in the varnish. But since I'm working with you, I'm putting it in the first coat so you can see how it's done. Just pick up the varnish, and it's got the glitter in it. It'll give it that real pretty sparkle. And I'm going to cover the whole bottle with this. This is what makes it shine, makes it pretty. Without this, you just get a dull finish on it. And I like, now if I'm using something that I don't want the shine on, then I use her matte finish or satin. If I'm making something country, you know, something in country decor and all, and I don't want it to shine, then I'll use the matte or the satin finish instead of using the gloss finish. So I buy it in all the different things. This is good. You can even put it on outdoor pieces. I've used it for years. I used Ceramcoat's varnish, and then if they discontinued it, changed the formula, and I quit using it. So my son's working in the yard, girls. So that noise you hear is him working in the front yard. My shop is out in the yard, and I've got the door open. Pretty here today. The wind, the weather's just perfect today. I live in the heart of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, so the tourists are thick. I had to go post office this morning, and traffic is the pits right now. But that's how people make their living here. It's a fantastic place to live. I live right in the Smoky Mountains. Everything here, you can Dollywood, we're right close. My granddaughter's worked at Dollywood for the last 3 years till she graduated. She graduated this year, so she's taking a new job this summer. Now you can see how pretty, I don't know if you can see that glitter, tell that it's got the glitter on it or not, but I'll take a picture of the whole thing and show you that. But I have put 1 coat all over it. And like I said, I will put probably at least 2 more on it, you know, to finish it. But I won't have to put varnish. I won't put glitter in that 2nd and 3rd coat because I've got enough glitter on it for now. Okay, now I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to dry it again so we can get it dry. Okay, I've got it done. We're going to be about an hour on this one. Now, see how pretty? You can see a little bit of the glitter. If I turn it in certain directions here, I think you can see the sparkle on it. But that just puts a shine. Now I'm going to put some beads. I'm going to use some bling. And I'm going to put me some beads on that. So let's see, I've got these and I'm going to use my 7,000 glue. So I'm going to layer down here. And these beads, these come from Hobby Lobby. And I think, well, they're in the bead, where the bead section is at, you'll be able to find them. And they're little, like rhinestones. So I'm going to go right around this lady. This is B7000 glue, which is fantastic for beadwork. And it allows you time, you have some time when you're putting it on, it doesn't dry, you know, real quick. It's not like hot glue, so it doesn't dry real quick. So you can squirt, you know, quite a bit around there, go around it. You don't need much to glue them down, but you can go a long way around the bottle and still have time to put them on there. Okay, so I'm going about halfway around. Now I'm going to take this and lay it down. Just lay it in here. And they'll stay in place. It takes them a few minutes to dry, but they will stay in place for you. I hope. Okay, come right on around with them. If you get that glue on your fingers, then it's hard to handle your beads if you got glue on your hands, and that's what I done right off the bat. I got some glue on my finger, and then when I touch them, I've got glue on my finger, it sticks to my beads. Okay. There's an indentation in this bottle. If you got somebody, if you know somebody who works at a bar, who tends bar, or waitresses or something in a bar, they can find bottles for you. I've been real lucky here. When I first started, and then we live in moonshine country, so I've got moonshine bottles running out the wazoo. Because I have friends who, I have one friend whose husband works at the brewery, so he gets me bottles. And then I have a niece who tends bar in West Virginia, and she brings me bottles. So I have hundreds and hundreds of bottles. My carport is full of them, tubs of them. When she brought me these Crown Royal bottles, she brought me about 15 at one time. Crown Royal makes a small bottle too that's awful pretty. Just going right around the lady with that, all the way around. Now I haven't got my ribbon out, so I'm not going to put the ribbons on it with you because I haven't even got it out of the box yet. I didn't intend to finish it here, so, but now you can see what I'm doing. Get around there, cut your last one off. Okay. This one will be in my auction Monday when we do the auction. Okay, now I've put beads all the way around her face. Then I will use ribbon. I will make my bows, and up here I'll put a big bow on the top of her, and my lights. This is a set of Christmas lights. These are the 20s. They come in a box like this. And I will just go in here and thread them in this hole here for the electric lights, and put the ribbon on the bottle. Okay, and then if your lights blow, if your lights go out on you, which eventually they will, you know, they're just Christmas lights, they eventually go out. When they do, all you have to do is cut the cord down here at the bottom where the lights go in. You cut that cord and cut it, and then open your lid at the top and pull your lights out the top. Pull your lights right out the top, and then you got another set to put down in there. You can just thread it right back in with another set. But it'll have a big bow here on the top that'll come to one side. And I use kind of a satiny ribbon, and I mix them. I will use a bow that's maybe I'll have white and lavender and pink all because I've got pink flowers, I've got lavender flowers, and then I've got a white background. So I'll do pink and white and lavender and put a bow around her. But she's finished. And I hope you've enjoyed what we've done. And this makes a beautiful gift. And sometimes when I have them, I sell them in my Etsy shop, which you have a link. We'll have a link to my Etsy shop. And we are done for this one. Okay, girls, I'm out of here. I hope you've enjoyed a little, and I've taught you a little bit of something. And I hope you leave a comment. Let me know where you're from, and any questions you have, just shoot me a question. I will put all the links in the video to the varnish and the mulberry paper and my shops and all that. And I'll even look on eBay, and I'll look on Etsy and eBay and see if I can find this napkin. If I happen to find it, I'll put a link in there to the napkin. So if you want this napkin too, you'll be able to find them. Okay, girls, I'm out of here today, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.